technology is so sophisticated that we are not so concerned about it at the moment, and we always try to sell products, not technology. So this is the advantage. We avoid to sell or to share any technology information with those partners, because of course there's no big concern with Japanese, but with South Korea and Chinese, it's always an issue which has to be observed.
And are your partners, particularly China and South Korea, happy with the case that you only sell the product and not the technology? Because many of us already mentioned that we are eager to get the technology.
Sure, they are. That's what we tend to do. We try to sell products. Fibers, as I said, is just raw material with unique properties, and we need partners who actually solve some kind of problems, who need to do things and believe that fibers could improve their final products. So we develop specifically with those partners. So we selectively choose our partners, we discuss the possibilities, the options, and if we decide, we are of course signing NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and some contracts, and start development of the product together with that.
Martin, Southeast Asia is so far away, and Hungary is so small. How came that a Hungarian company was able to set up a water purification and water treatment system in Vietnam and Southeast Asia? Do we have any specialty?
I think yes, that first we in Hungary decided that we just brainstormed that what are we good in, and we found out that in water treatment we have something. So first we formed this water cluster in Hungary. This is a bit more than an alliance of the Hungarian companies who are interested in this sector and who have a lot of those projects, maybe at different part of the water treatment sector. And this cooperation is a functional cooperation, so it works. It's not like, I think that in Hungary we have more than 100 clusters, but this is a working one. And it is important. Otherwise, I think that to find the right place and the right market, it was really coming from the past, from history. In history, we had a long-established scholarship program with Vietnam. So from Vietnam, a lot of people came to Hungary to attend universities, technological universities, and they returned to Vietnam. I'm not sure that would happen even today, but at that time they returned there, and for the time being, they are now in a position that they are the decision makers. So it was really important to have to find our local partners, and to find the local partners, we had this, I think, not to be overestimated, but very important factor, that we knew the person who are in charge with business and also government relationship. So I think that was the first and most important factor entering into Vietnam.
Besides these, you might say, political relations or cross-cultural relations, did the Hungarian government itself or the foreign industry itself help your activity there, or not?
I wouldn't just call this a kind of help. It's a kind of cooperation that we keep. We go everywhere hands in hands. So when we are talking about an infrastructure project, it's a must to be really so close, like in a marriage. So I cannot imagine a situation when you are just going into this region and you don't have a stable and long-established government partnership.
And the Hungarian government, so do you need the support of the local Hungarian embassies and consulates?
Yes. I've heard this morning other speakers also mentioning it that the support of the home countries, embassy and diplomats is very important. So it's not just in the, it is the very same in Hungary, like in the Czech Republic. So I think that some years ago we have really changed our structure of embassies, and it is really now clearly oriented towards business. So it means that Hungary stress on this setting up new business transactions.
So, but if I understand you correctly, you had the chance to work with Japanese, South Korean, and Chinese as well. Can you name a few differences or similarities?
There are differences. Sure, there are.
Are there similarities?
Yeah, they look the same. No, my first experience was with the Japanese when I was invited by JETRO to have meetings with Japanese partners. The first problem, language. Japanese just don't speak good English. So I had an interpreter, and he spent all day with me interpreting each meeting. Even though there were some Japanese, they tried to speak English, but they were not able to discuss anything. So at the end of those 3-day conference or exhibition, actually the guy was speaking on behalf of me and just said, okay, I will reply, we don't waste time. So he was just following me, he learned what I was saying, so it was quite good. The second experience was at Nanotech Japan. When we walked around the exhibition hall, I was surprised and shocked that people would hide in front of us from the booth. They were just hiding, because they saw like us coming and they were so afraid to speak English. It's different if you go to some international exhibition, but specifically in Japan, I have experienced this. They are very conservative, and they were very precise. So we had like 15 minutes meeting, and if we were like 2 minutes longer, they would just come directly to your room and say, sorry, we have no more time, there's another partner waiting for a meeting. So I was like from 10 till 5 o'clock in the afternoon sitting in this small booth and discussing possibilities. So they are very like precise and actually very nice. Korean. There is a big rivalry between Korea, South Korea, and Japan. The only way they cooperate is when the North Korea is starting to frighten either each country. So the rivalry is very big, and I think for South Koreans it's very motivating because they are much more flexible, more open and goal-oriented, and they speak better English than the Japanese. They are very, very open-minded and open to new discussions, new technologies. The Japanese market was closed for a long time because it was self-sufficient, and after the recession in 2008, they were forced actually to search for international markets. And the automotive or the IT industry was supported and supplied from internal Japanese companies. And when this happened, they started realizing that they need sources from outside of Japan. Korea, they are importing everything everywhere, and they are very good. And Chinese, we've been in touch with them for like only a year now, discussing some kind of cooperation. I was actually very surprised that if Chinese come to here to visit us to discuss some project, they are actually bringing technical people together. So it's always a big group of people coming to your side. And there's 2 questions. Are they here because they want to learn and inspire on your technology, or they want to discuss the project you plan to do with them? So you have to be always careful. But I set an example of the US company owned by Chinese, and they came with very good technical people, and they understood the problem, and they also understood that the development of new application takes long time or some time, long always. And it's very important. If you have investor only from financial sector, they always push you to make revenue and to sell. While you need to develop as well. So this is my experience if I have to compare the 3 cultures.
What do you think about the future of East Asian economy and your project over there? Do you see a bright future or concerns?
I'm not sure. We see like China as a nice, big potential market. We know that the people in China are growing richer and richer, and the demand for good quality European products is increasing. So those rich people in China, they don't want to buy the low quality stuff which is produced and made in China. they actually want to buy and use good quality products, either produced in US or in Europe. So this is the field where I see quite nice potential to produce in here and sell high-tech products to China. And in Japan, it's always takes a lot of time and energy because we have one partner, we've been in touch for 3 years. Every time we need them, we have to start from the beginning, explaining what we do, what our applications are. So it's taking a lot of time. It's a little bit different because we don't have a product, like finished product which can be directly used. We have like product which needs to be incorporated in something else. So once we have product, they will be maybe like more faster, more open to concept.
Let's turn to our online questions. Martin, do you think that your cooperation with Asian countries somehow change your business view? Last one.
The business unit, I think that what you learn in Southeast Asia is that you always have to be ready to learn new things. I mean that the cultural differences are very important. So to be prepared for everything. It sounds very general, but that's the way I'm arriving every time in Jakarta. That you have an agenda, set meetings, and the one thing that you can be sure that none of this will be at the time when you schedule it. So I think that to be patient and to be ready to really learn and together with your local staff that how business going on in these countries, it's a must. I think that sounded like a joke that are there any similarities in these countries, but I think it's real question because I couldn't find real similarities in the countries where I'm working. So, for example, Vietnam and Indonesia are completely different cultures and completely different structures when we are talking about business.
Could you name a few differences or experiences, share your experiences with regard to these differences between Vietnam and Indonesia?
Yes. For example, don't go into Vietnam if you are not prepared to drink a lot of Vietnamese rice wine, made with whatever ingredients and in plastic bags. So without this, it's impossible to make business there because you are always asked to take part in long-lasting dinners where you drink this wine. Cham Fan Cham means 100% in one. And for example, this is not the same thing in Jakarta. Jakarta is much more sophisticated. This is a place where people speak so academic English that they can understand very, very small differences between the meaning of words. In Vietnam, this is absolutely the contrary. Like maybe in Japan. I always tell my staff in Vietnam when they are complaining about the work conditions that, okay, you should go to a Japanese company and work over there, but now I realize that Japan might be the same from this point of view. So nobody speaks in English even at the government level in Vietnam. So be patient.
And flexible.
And get some money with you. It's really important. I always work in these countries in a way that I give them the money first to be able to buy the products and the services. I think this is also important.
Mr. Duk, there was another question online. How important was the Czech governmental support while entering the East Asian market in your case?
They help us a lot. I would say we closely cooperate with Czech Invest, with Technological Center, and they're always supporting companies like startup companies or Czech companies by building like international or Czech pavilion, Czech booth, where the Czech companies can participate and present their products. So I must say the support from Czech Invest and Technological Center is great in this case.
It's good to hear. So I would be surprised that many of us already mentioned alcohol as a problem in East Asia. For Central Europeans, it shouldn't be a problem, I think, really. Anyway, let me open up the floor for our guests. If there are any questions, we have a few more minutes. We're going to catch up with the original schedule. Any questions? We're waiting for the lunch. Yes.
We are, we are all the time talking how we see Asian people and so on. I wonder if you have any idea how they see us and what we can learn from that.
Really easy.
Yeah, I'm curious too because you're very experienced than I am.
I'm not pretty sure, but maybe I have talking about this topic a bit more. Yeah. So let's start with Vietnam. They are looking. I don't know how they are looking at the Caucasian type of businessman. I have just some experience that what I feel they are looking at me, for example, or my colleagues. I think this is important because I don't have a general understanding of this region. I know only my clients and friends there. I think they really look at us in a way that we are professional at the topic that we are talking about or we are trying to make business together. For example, in the water treatment, there is no question about that. When we say that this has to be done this way, then they will accept it and they will follow us. So I think they really like more competence in the fields of activity and the fields of business. In terms of other ways, I always feel like that this relates only to the business part. And at the personal level, you have friends and there are other people who just not ready to take a real relationship with you. It's not so concrete, but that's my feeling sometimes. Also in Indonesia, I think that they tend to have business with big countries like Germany, France, and the Netherlands. And when we are coming into a meeting or a business, we are meeting somebody with a business the possibility, we really have to focus on what is the unique thing that we can provide them. Okay, when it's sometimes I work together with companies who are interested in security. I mean, communication security or internet security. Then it's not a question that Hungarians or companies from Israel, maybe from the Czech Republic, can be good partners because we are coming from a small country. We are not interested in that we would like to take notes what they will use this system in the future. But we are pretty good in this kind of industry, so it's easy to make business with them, and they are ready to accept in a professional level that it is okay for them. Otherwise, it's not easy. So I think there is a difference between Caucasian people. I mean that somebody coming from Germany or France gets a different treatment. I don't know whether I have answered your question or not, but please help me.
And these regular observations.
It is important always, yes, not to talk about what I feel about them, but I think that was the most important thing in your question, that do we think about what they think about ourselves, about us. So I think it's important.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no more questions. Yeah, there is one.
Hello there, Lukáš Vlášek, Mr. Bostrava. I'd like to ask you a couple of experience from different countries in Asia in operating. What is the role of transparency? How can you kind of maintain the sense of transparency in dealing with the partners? Which country is mostly transparent in negotiations? You mentioned Japanese are always like beginning from starting from the beginning. When you mentioned Korean, Chinese case, Indonesia, is there transparency as a quality present in these operations? Transparency on political level, economic level, personal level, to what extent?
Difficult to say, isn't it? It's like it's always important, to have transparent, partners and trusted partners. But you can never say you're going to meet because you start your contacts either at the exhibition or through an email. So we had actually the sales representative in South Korea, for example. We've been cooperating with him for like 3 years, and we met after 3 years. And after that, I have actually realized that this guy was just, doing the benchmarking of our materials with our competitors. So it was quite surprising for me. We've sold some material, but it never ended in any business case. They never ordered larger amount of materials. And I still do have a suspicion that he was just, doing the benchmarking of our materials for some internal research undertaken in South Korea. So it's always important to know people who you are working with. So, for example, with Chinese now, we have a partner. He's Czech. He lived long time in China. He's got great experience with the Chinese market, and he's helping us to bring our products to this market. It's always better to build a relationship, to understand what kind of person this is.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me invite the guests to give hands to our panelists today.